to walk that narrow path between defaming somebody and fair comment.
Yeah.
This is what Jerome had to say. It's clear from the conversation and the viewers' reaction that as long as we continue to unconscionable dollarize and monetize the Ghana Black Stars, because football people around the team would get cuts, the spirit of the Ghanaian people won't be behind the team. That's a sweeping statement. Is that what you people agree? You agree with such a statement?
Well, yeah.
The people,
This is very open and public, so I'm not sure.
Look, listen.
Yeah.
In your case,
yeah,
I hear they put 3 car. Let's take it one. On the Juju issue,
yes,
the evidence is that the Ghana FA official swept the 2012 testimonies by the players to the Ghana Black Star coach under the carpet. It didn't act on the coach's report. The phenomenon is there, and the behavior of the GFA hasn't changed. They still denied. It's interesting that you wrote that one. Very, very interesting. But I'll read the last one and then get back to you on that one.
Right.
Because if the GFA official truly cares about the trust the public have in its management of our football presently, they should humbly review comments on my GTV Sports social media pages from last night and act accordingly. It's telling charades won't fool people, not always. Oh my goodness. That's hitting. Is that not below the belt?
I don't think so.
I know it's democracy, but
yeah, but I mean, if you look at the emotions that Ghanaians put in football and how we appear to have taken, I say we because I see myself as part of the football community, how we seem to have taken it for granted. It is important we make ourselves understand that we can't just say anything or do things anyhow and expect them to rally behind us. The first tweet, well, let me start from the last one. We come on TV, we tell the public that there is money for the Black Stars. For that reason, we believe we can win the competition, against the fact that, given what others are doing and what we are doing here, it will be very difficult.
What are others doing? Is it what Nathan was saying?
For example, others have employed coaches and are paying them well, not interfering in their work.
But that's the problem. You talk about interference, yet I sat here last week and the week before, a fortnight ago. The consensus is that there must be some form. No. If I am paying, I must have a say.
I'm not talking about interference from government. I'm talking about interference from football people. And in this case, I'm making particular reference to Gary hosting the GFA president, and the GFA president saying that henceforth coaches will not have their independence when it comes to selection. And I'm saying that I don't know of any of the top countries where their top football people have the courage to tell coaches in their country that we won't allow you to have the independence to select players. For me, the moment we start from that ground, what you are doing is that you are compromising selection.
Okay.
And then on the Juju issue, you see, if journalists go to a tournament and come and report of certain issues, it is very easy to say, oh, these are journalists. They are always lying. They are always trying to throw dust into the public's eye. But once head coach of a team writes in his report that players came to me saying that some of our colleague players are using Juju to undermine ourselves or the team. From my point of view, the first thing the FA must do is to take the coach's report and act on it.
Okay.
So, if after 10 years we go to an AFCON.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Yes. Yeah, and the same issue comes up again. This time, not necessarily from a coach, but journalists telling you that, look, some of the players are saying that because some brought spiritualists to camp or because of Juju issues in camp, they don't want to be part of this team, or they will not be part of this team again. I'm saying that 10 years is such a long time for us not to be able to deal with this issue.
Okay, good point there, but it's interesting that you're raising up those issues because was it not the same coach who was there in 2010? Did he not know about this? And couldn't
No, but in 2012, he wasn't the one who was the official.
I'm not denying that, but in 2010, he was still there. It wasn't like he wasn't there.
Ah, right. But he didn't complain about that.
Anyway,
He didn't.
Anyway, Sports Obama. But he's not really Sports Obama. His real name is Sadiq Adams. I can tell you because I taught him. Sadiq Adams. But everybody calls him Sports Obama.
This is a classical representation of the Quranic Judgment Day.
Okay, let's take a look at Sadiq's tweet. Now, this is what he said. Ghana spent around 2.5 million at AFCON 2021. A source within the parliamentary committee investigating the campaign has told me. Government advanced 2.9 to the team for the Doha campaign and initial stage of the AFCON. With the team exiting in the group, around 400,000 was returned. What were you driving at that? You had such a disaster, and you were more focused on 400,000 K.
Yeah, I was focused on the financial aspect of it. Despite the disaster, we still need to know how much was spent, and that's been one of the biggest challenges of football. Football is run with money, and if we go to tournaments, and I was trying to compare how much each of the countries who came to the tournament spent, and with us exiting at that point in the tournament, I thought that it would have been lesser, and there would have been a bit of transparency. Transparency in the sense that at every stage we are supposed to know this is the amount of money the team is supposed to spend at the tournament. We did not know that, so after the tournament, it was the responsibility of journalists to let people know how much was spent. So basically, it wasn't about returning the 400,000 K, but I just wanted to emphasize on how much was spent.
It's interesting. It's interesting you guys are focusing on these sort of things, because I sit down and I say, with all due respect, what the heck? Do you know what England spent? You don't. They don't bring it out. You don't know anybody's salary. It's journalists who go behind the times. That's why they use the word like around.
This is not salary.
They don't have to tell you.
Well, so this was from a source within. And the most important thing, why journalists have focused on this is basically because of what happened in Brazil, where we paid commission on going to buy ingredients, $20,000.
The best picture I saw was the
coconut. So these are some of the issues fans are interested in. We follow the team with our hearts and souls. What do they do when they got there? Are they more focused on the money, or they go there based on the commitment and patriotism for which we have sent them there?
Okay. Gary Osmake is the last, certainly not the least, because he's closest to me, so I'm started from the other side coming. And this is what Gary put up on one of his famous tweets. Ghana coach Sika Akono is a good friend, but I reckon for our sake and his, he isn't the man to lead to or in Qatar. Gary,
it was a difficult thing. It was a difficult thing to write because CK was one of, or I mean, he's alive. He is one of the men whose tenures I desperately wanted to succeed, you know, because it meant so much for the local game. Somebody will say, why not Kwesi Appiah? Kwesi Appiah was an assistant for a very long time. And before Kwesi Appiah became coach, he had enjoyed the largesse of being assistant in several capacities. People will recall, if they know, that Kwesi Appiah was part of the whole structure of ex-President Kufuor wanting the whole Ghana Rising agenda. So when in 2008, or before 2008, it was clear that we were going to host the AFCON, you know, there was a deliberate attempt to have a Ghanaian representation at all levels. So for the building of the stadium or the renovation of the stadium, they got an Italian partner, that was Micheletti and Co. At the time, with certain guarantees that Ghanaian, you know, talent will be trained for renovation and so on and so forth. And on the coaching front, they decided that at the time we didn't have what it took locally to be able to lead the Black Stars to the AFCON. So they called Claude Leroy, and then they put certain people there, one of whom was Kwesi Appiah. And Kwesi Appiah was an assistant to Claude in 2010 as well.
Was he an assistant? Was he not number 4, number 3?
Well, I mean, you know,
Because
yeah,
he was part of the furniture.
He was part.
yeah, but this guy had more.
So you know the assistants. They
no, not Bobo. The one who won the Nations Cup twice.
Renard.
Renard.
Yeah, but that was it. They said he was a physical trainer.
But you and I know he was number 2.
Yeah,
He was a number.
No, there was a guy they brought at the last minute, some Cuban guy.
Yeah.
You remember there was some Cuban guy, some bald-headed guy, just like they brought this guy
To Formilo.
Formilo. There was the last guy they brought who was also doing something, and the news came in that Leroy, you know, was getting additional money and pocketing something. So Kwesi Appiah was an assistant 2008-2010. In 2012 he was an assistant as well before eventually getting the job. So by that time he was sorted. CK didn't have that time to be a system person to understand how the system worked and all that. So for me, his appointment was a sign that, look, if somebody has gone through the mill, and for me, this was why it was important. Kwesi Appiah hadn't been a Ghana Premier League coach and so on. So if CK did well, it was a straight endorsement for Ghana Premier League coaches, and nobody could stand anywhere and say that, no, they are not good enough. So it was difficult for me, and I kept giving him the benefit. So that was actually the first tweet. I was in Bolton. You see that? I was in Bolton at the time. When after the game, I had watched the game on we in South Africa, I think, on my phone.
The one they beat us.
The one they beat us.
The 1-0.
And I said, you know, I had to just say this about my good friend. You know, it was, and I did a video afterwards. That was the first time I had also said, after having doubt for a while, but after seeing that game, I was 100% sure, and I have been 100% sure since, that Andre Ayew is not a 90-minute player for the Black Stars. That was the first time I said that Andre should definitely be in every squad that we name, because one, he's a big game player, he's got the temperament to lead the team, and if whether you like it or not, he seems to have the knack for scoring big goals for us. In fact, I didn't even know this until the AFCON, that before we scored our first goal, it was only Andre and his brother Jordan who had scored the last 9 goals for us.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I said, and throughout the AFCON I kept saying it, which is why when I got him in the press conference at the mixed goal, I asked him that question, you know, if the video is available. I asked him pointedly, and I said, Andre, how does it feel knowing that you are the first captain in the history of the Black Stars? The Black Stars has been in existence since at least 1956, 1958. When I said that, he did this because he was calculating. I said, yeah. How does it feel knowing that you are the first captain to lead us to the West?
That's what made him angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, it's football. It's football. But I needed him to go and think about it, you know, because I didn't have time, because it was a mixed zone.
But why does it have to be him?
No, I had gotten, he was the only one I
No,
got.
understood.
Yes.
But I'm saying, why does it have to be him?
Yeah.
When there's a coach who decides to field him from the beginning, you're talking about a 60-minute player, so therefore the
Yeah,
coach doesn't see that way.
So the context is that this was under CK Akono.
Yes, understood.
Yes. So I was saying that just in case, I mean, CK hadn't been sacked then, obviously. But my personal opinion was that if anybody took our word, you know, for anything, my opinion was that Andre is a good goal scorer. He's a scorer of great goals as well. However, his longevity in games is
the problem.
Is the problem.
Meanwhile, your point goes at variance with what Nathan actually got, because why are we talking about coaches? Why are we stacking coaches if the fundamentals are not right? That's what Nathan was saying.
Yeah.
You haven't got the structures in place. You haven't got coach
All of that.
stars coming through. So, with all due respect, who the heck is going to coach who?
But you see,
that's why we have 2 hours.
you see,
Fine.
let's start it from the GFA's own pronouncement. And me, I always want it that way because it is their word, and you can use it against them if they are not doing what they say should be done. When Milo came, the talk was that he was in to fix a problem, and he was a quick fix, I mean, material for our problem. So if you are asking for long-term plans, if you are asking for structures to be put in place, right from September, we've been told that this is a quick fix thing until perhaps we secure the World Cup qualification, or until perhaps we are done with the AFCON, whether we win it or not. So in as much as I agree with what Nathan wrote, the point is that at that time, we had been told that this is a quick fix thing. That quick fix thing did not work. Here we were presented with a situation where we have just weeks to play a World Cup qualifier. Yeah. You cannot be talking about structures and long-term stuff at that time. Yeah. What we needed to do was to dismiss Milo, and from there begin to think of what we can do for the future. If it is getting a coach that will handle the 2 World Cup qualifiers and then take us deep into the future, fair enough. And that's what I for instance, advocated. But then, what needed to be done was that first quick fix thing didn't work. And because of the emergency of our situation, we needed to get rid of Milo and everything that he represented and get in another setup that can handle the situation for us, either we qualify or not. But Carl, there's one point I wanted to make, I think on one of my tweets, the first one. You see, we should take the public serious. I do not think the football people take the public serious. What you did with the former FA presidents or chairman, if you check the commentary on Facebook alone, you could clearly see that people love the game. People want to be part of whatever Ghana is doing at the football, on the football scene. But these same people who are so passionate about our game do not believe that the right things are being done. It is a different thing if journalists who are privileged to be at competitions are saying it. And it's also a completely different thing when people who don't have the privileges we have, the front row seats we have, also are telling you that indeed things are wrong. And check the Vox Pop you did, I think on the second show or the first show. There was one guy who was completely dismissive. Oh, as for Ghana Black Stars, leave them. It is representative of how the nation feels when it comes to the Black Stars. Yeah. And I'm saying that the people managing our football do not feel that way.
They are not feeling the pulse, the public temperature. As Honorable Bagbin said, just to...
They are not reading the environment.
Yeah, he said 2 days ago that the parliamentarians, he asked them, are you aware of the temperature of the country?
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just like the football people.
So related to the football issue, our football people do not feel it that way. And I'll say this. If you check the commentary of the FA president when
it was post the exit, right?
The first thing he should have done, and you in your introduction, you said it, is the worst AFCON in Ghana's history. The first thing, if you understand the gravity of Ghana going to an AFCON and exiting without winning a match, under your reign, it's never happened, but under your reign it's happened. The first thing he should have done was to adopt an apologetic approach, tell the public that, look, it was bad. We know it was bad. But that's why you've put us there. Have confidence in us. We believe we can fix it. We are going to fix it. But when he was asked, do you have any apology for Ghana or Ghanaians? He said, dismissively, right, Ghanaians have the right to express any opinion they have. So if people criticize you, you have asked for it. If people tell you you can't do the job, you have told them that, look, you can express yourself any way you want.
There are 2 things from very similar comment that I passed on the appointment of the coach. I agree with him based on
who is him?
Nathan. On his tweets. I understand no matter how rickety the car is, you still need a driver to once you want to put it on the road. So the appointment of the coach is important.
That's key.
The car is, you still need, once you want to put it on the road, you need to have a driver. But then that's not the important thing. It's the fixing the car. Yeah. I don't think that anybody has said here that going for a coach wasn't the most important thing at that point. But then, if you look at the enormity of focus on, oh, let's sack Milo. So I wrote that Milovan was 1% of Ghana's problems, or even below that. We have gone on this tangent for how many years? Just after, I've been part of this, involved in saying, oh, it's the coach, let's sack him. But then you go and read the reports of the coaches after tournament, some of which are not made public. You get to understand that some of the problems are beyond the coaches. Kwesi Appiah said it at the Commission of Inquiry. Milovan has had his own problems.
Yeah.
Plavi had his problems.
Stevanovic.
So when the authorities come back and try to deceptively put all the blame on the coach, trying to get the masses to rally behind them and fight against the coach, that's why I have the problem. From government, from ministry, from the FA, is the coach. Let's sack him. Oh, let's keep him. Ghana football's problem is beyond the appointment or sacking of one Black Stars coach. So it's the focus there. They just put, the details they want to attach to, oh, we are going for a new coach. That's not the solution. You can bring Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, 5 or 6, Thomas Tuchel, the Black
put
Stars.
them in one technical team.
Put them in one technical team with Gus Hiddink as the technical director. They will fail. Because the system is so toxic. There is a structureless system. Yeah. So when you want to focus too much on who becomes the coach at the expense of what is the actual problem, because this is the 8th coach we've sacked in the last how many years? If it's actually the problem of a technical issue, why is it that we've brought in Avram Grant, we brought in Plavi, we brought in Kwesi Appiah, we brought in CK? In between that, a lot of interim appointments, none of them had been able to fix the problem. Ghana football continues to decline. So the problem, I am saying that putting all the focus and attention on, oh, we are going for a new coach and everything will be solved and everybody goes back to sleep, that is not the problem of Ghana football. So talking about, oh, we had this coach here, he's coached for 17 years, bring them here. The next moment, this same journalists and football association are going to run after the coach and put the blame there. So we paper the cracks which are there. Putting a coach in charge and not fixing the problem is similar to putting a plaster or band-aid on a fracture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghana football has so many fractures and we are trying to cover them with bandage, and that's the problem we have. Whoever comes in,
papering over the cracks.
Of course, that's basically what we do.
Sadiq takes me to a scripture, for the Christians. Jesus Christ talks about putting old wine in new wine skins, right?
Yeah.
What does he say will happen?
Nothing.
It won't hold.
Yeah.
So we fixate a lot on, let's sack the coach and let's do this. And then whenever this time comes, I always like the conversation around coaches, because then we all start to get very emotional.
Easy scapegoat.
Then we mention this coach's name. Let's bring back this person. Let's bring back that person. Forgetting that will not solve anything. Look, if sacking of coaches could win us an AFCON, we would have won 10 already.
Yeah.
We would have. Since 2000 and whatever. We have sacked coaches and sacked coaches. Clearly, the challenge is not the fact that the coach is right or wrong. Of course, there are instances where we've gone to an AFCON and we failed because we were badly handled from the touchline. That's understandable. But that cannot be the case since 1982. So what is it that is wrong? Are we saying that since 1982 till now we haven't found a coach to lead us to an AFCON, or we haven't found a playing body to win us an AFCON? So clearly it goes beyond a 23 we take, the coaching team we take. There are deeper problems in Ghana football, and each AFCON reminds us that the problems are grave. And what even highlights those problems is the performances of other countries. Yep. In the last 10, 12 years, look at the countries that have made news at the AFCON, not necessarily those who have won.
Yeah.
Okay. You know one thing, let me just help you out. I made that observation 2 weeks ago, a fortnight ago. Yeah. I made it during the match day as it was happening. Yeah. Since we last won the Nations Cup, Egypt have won 5. Mm-hmm. Cameroon, who had never won any, have won 5.
Have won 5.
Since we last won. It makes the whole thing...
it brings it home.
It brings it home. Yeah. But all of you here, not one of you has mentioned your profession as being also one of the causes.
Of course, sure.
Now, interesting talking about the profession being one of the causes. Our own Acheko from Pong, I call him EK, but for those who don't know, those are his initials. There's an E and a K, but he doesn't want to mention, so I don't mention it. But Acheko from Pong on our program, The File, focused on the media and made it his spotlight. This is what he had to say.
The media, you and I, all of us here, the role that we are playing in the development of the game We shouldn't go and shift it on the administrators. That's what I'm saying. The discussion is for the media. Okay. So Jojo is now going to talk about club administrators and the fact. No, we have to. The role that you and I play. How honest have we been to the system, the football system? How honest? How strong have we been in standing up to the system? Because the media, right? We are the fourth estate of the realm, right? So whatever thing that is going on within the football space, that will not help the long-term benefit of the game. We have to stand up and then speak against it or address it. I think these things are the most important thing. These are the things that we have to talk about.
It's interesting, isn't it? You know, there was a program once called the Desmonds.
Oh yeah,
and there was a gentleman.
It was on GTV.
There was a gentleman. It was a British about a family of barbers and whatnot. And there was a Ghanaian actor in there, Jabbo from Pong. Yeah. And he always used to say, "There's an old African saying," and then he would. Well, there is an old African saying that when you point at somebody, 3 counts back at you. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're pointing at the administrators. Yeah, point. 3 counts back at you. Yeah, sure. So you're pointing at the administrators, or you're pointing at government, or you're pointing at, but it comes back to you. And that's what Acheko Pimpong is trying to say.
I disagree with him. From what Nathan was saying, it is a leadership problem. It is a management problem. And these 2 things are key. Where does the media play a role in the leadership?
The media or the media people take sides.
No,
they choose player A over player B, and they go to town. You know what I'm saying? And Obama will even see it more because with the tree station, sometimes it becomes the diet.
Carl, let's look at what the issues have been for the Black Stars and see where the media has faltered. I'll give you 2 examples. 2014, it was an international disgrace. The money delayed because leadership didn't play its role well. Was there the money or there was no money? If there was money, how was the communication done to the players? What was the role of the media in that? You can't blame the media for that. You cannot. And I always make this reference. Daily Graphic of that year, I think June 27th, 2014, quoted the former FA president as saying that money ruined us in Brazil. Yeah. And I'm saying that if the whole FA president is telling the world, I'm not picking on him, but I'm saying that from his perspective, if it is money that destroyed Ghana in Brazil, how do you blame the media?
I think the larger point he's making, and I think, perspective-wise, you are right, of course, because as they say, leadership is cause, everything.
The rest is effect.
It's effect. Yeah. So yeah, because if you look at all the countries that have won the World Cup, they have probably more vitriolic media than we do. England went to the last 4 of several the last 2 competitions they won under 17 and whatnot in the last 3 or 4 years.
Italian media with
the
German press.
They are acerbic,
The girl is like vicious.
And it's everywhere. Okay, but I think the point he's trying to make is, if we had a seminar and say what is the role of media in the growth of football, I'm sure we will list about 10 things that media should do or should improve on. Yeah. One of the things he's saying is our penchant for
tax,
picking not even the attacks. Let's go to even the other side, which is that I know this player.
Yeah. He probably make a case for him.
Yes, I know this player because he probably comes from my community. So me, Charlie, me, I'm a Labadi boy. Then I give a recent example. This right back that we had recently, he played like 4 games. I think under CK, Anang or something. Benson.
Yeah.
Benson be my area boy for Apapa. Labadi Apapa. I mean, I didn't know him like that because Charlie, I know they go out and things. So somebody hit me up when he was first invited and said, "Oh, Benson Anang." I'm like, I googled him. I'm like, I don't recognize the face because he done some Rasta. So probably the time I knew him, he was changed. He said, oh, you know, like Kojo Sadi in that place. He said, I said, oh, it be that boy, be that. He said, hey, he did so Charlie. So nice. Charlie, so if you help him, if you hype him, we be area boy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I told the guy the same thing I tell everybody else. If he performs, I would have reason to talk about him.
Exactly.
Because if it was his club, and for example, he does what these guys, there was a Ghanaian boy at the weekend who did so well against PSG.
Bukari.
Osman. We hadn't heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
And there was another boy as well in the League One who also did well. You know, so it was Moses Simon and then Bukari. You know, when you are talking about Bukari, you have a start, you have everything, and you can make just
a very cogent argument.
And nobody can say that, but you, who is this, you know? But what Carl is talking about is, Charlie, you know, we are on several platforms.
No.
There is some boy in Chechenistan.
Yeah, I get that point, but if I can finish with my second point.
Yeah.
My second point has got to do with managing the team relative to money and public expectation. Carl, the media has no role in that. Last week, Honorable Nilante Vanapoy, former sports minister, and I have always said that I think he's one of the few sports ministers that have sought to restore public confidence in the Black Stars and check the things he did. Last week he mentioned one, that Black Stars budget, for instance, for I think one tournament, he cut off over $300,000.
2017, and then it was after that the row came, and then we couldn't go for 2018.
Thank you. Now, the reason Ghanaians are so, let me say, some people think that it's not worth following the Black Stars is because of the poster managers of the team have taken when it comes to money. I'm not saying we should publish details of their budget and those things. But if you remember, after the World Cup, I think they went to Kumasi also. And there was this talk about either the Asantehene was telling them, look, when you play for the national team, it's not like you are working where you'll be paid. It's more like serving your nation, so don't expect money.
I know what is coming. I know what is
emphasis, coming. The emphasis later was that it's our job. We have to be paid for it. I was in Kumasi then. The public commentary was that if it's your job to play and take money, it's also our job to support you.
It was one player who actually said
and
that.
now,
you remember?
Check what management did. It was some public charade, putting players there, trying to let them say something. It wasn't deep from their heart. And I'm saying that the public see these things. When Nilante Vanderpoy slashed bonuses, people started applauding him. Why? Because the people believe that is what should be done. Unfortunately,
they applauded him because we were not winning. If we had been winning, they would have insulted him from head to toe.
Well, you see, the argument I want to make is that Ghanaians don't care if we are spending about the Black Stars, and it is legitimate spending. Now, the spending is questionable because people think how you are doing it is not the best. For instance, where's AFCON? Over $500,000 have been spent paying appearance fees. Graphic Sports published pictures of, stories talking about the fact that other national team coaches have not been paid. Who will do this? That you spend close to $1 million paying appearance fees to players at a competition that has been described as our worst. And you have national team coaches of other teams who have not been paid some, how many years? 2 years. Who will do this?
CK still
So
has
you see,
money outstanding.
it is not really about journalists trying to promote their players. I know we can talk about that. But the core issue is that public confidence in leadership and management of the Black Stars is low.
I wanted to land on that I understand your point, Mr. Tufo. But that is not the main thing.
No,
you know,
I've never said it's the main thing.
But so we still need to.
But you conveniently forget about that one when you are pointing.
No,
for that, I want to touch small on the media being responsible or partly blameable for what's happening to the national team. For the technical directorate of the FA, the coaching team, the FA management, if a journalist in, say, Ochiamansa FM wants to promote his player, and you think that has the the significance of influencing your decision to appoint that particular player or name him in the team. You have no business being there.
Yeah.
I am not on the table where they finally decide on who to pick for the AFCON. Yeah. It's their job. Yeah. When you made the selection of who are supposed to come on this program, we did not influence you. The FA presidents did not influence you. You wanted value for what has been, the policy of the TV station. So if someone sits somewhere on radio and say there is a player in Kyrgyzstan who has 7 goals in 65 games and I think deserves a place in the national team, and somebody says somewhere that the media is unduly influencing selection, what is the mandate of the technical team if such comments are capable of influencing you?
Let me say it in Twitter language.
Yes.
Now, Black Stars technical director there.
Twitter So the media, of course, we have a role to play. And to me, I can speak for myself. I can speak for Gary. I followed him. I can speak for Jerome. I can speak for Nathan. We have done what we are supposed to do, what is expected of us. What are we saying? Jerome mentioned it. How do you expect the media? We've criticized how much is invested in the Black Stars alone, not the national teams, the Black Stars. The entire Ghana Football Association structure is like painting the roof of the building without a foundation. We've spent nearly 95% of our sports ministry's budget, 95, on the Black Stars alone in one tournament. The sports ministry budget for 2019 was 36 million, around 36 million Ghana cedis. 35 million was spent on the Black Stars AFCON campaign.
We'll get to that.
How can you do this?
We will get to that because for somebody like me, who doesn't see the need of football, because for me, everybody knows where my leanings are. Track and field, skates rules. So when I hear 35 out of 36,
lose your mind.
But hold on. Folks, in case you switch on that TV set, I've got the current generation of journalists in-house. It is the program Saving Our Passion. We've had VFA presidents. We've had the senior journalists. We've had the current journalists. God willing, we will have others, players, captains, coaches, and all those. Right up, building up all the way to the last Thursday before Ghana plays Nigeria on that Friday.
25th.
Absolutely. So we'll be going on to the 24th of March. Having said that, let me remind you the various social media portals in which you can send your comments. WhatsApp is 055 556 1056. 055 556 1056. Twitter is at my GTV Sports, and the at is the sign. You know that A with a wiggle. And then, because I've seen some people go and say at, and then they write 80. And then Facebook is GTV. The GTV is capital. Sports Plus, not PLUS, but the plus sign or the numerical sign of a plus, whatever that's put on. This is English now. Right. Listen. We've spoken about Black Star, because obviously that's where it starts. But let's get to the business of saving this nation. Now, when I was growing up, I would concede, and that's why I don't like to compare over eras. Our best players were in Ghana. So it was easy to have, and those days there was not democracy. So it was easy to have dictatorial tendencies of saying, we are taking your players, and we are keeping them in camp. We are sending your players to Brazil 1 year. The era is totally different now. A club has every right to its players. In fact, in some cases, even more rights than the national team, because they're the ones who are paying them. I want us to look at the development of the game itself. And where we are now, and where do you think we'll be in the future if we're going to continue on this tangent, which seems to just be going
down?
I will say that just like all other countries that have succeeded, you need to get to a low to look at
how
that.
How low can you get?
I'm just saying. So you need to look at where you are.
Rock bottom.
Look at the top of the hill and say, that's our next task. We are getting from this point to the top of the hill. And I thought that this AFCON presented us the perfect opportunity to tear down the structure and say, you know what, we've hit rock bottom, we can't go any further. This is the time we start retracing our steps to the very top. And lots of countries have gotten to this point. Germany got here, France got there, all kinds of countries have gotten there. But what did they do? And if you run through everybody's success stories, there are certain principles we can learn. Certain basic principles. It doesn't matter whether you have money, of course you need money, but the bottom line is, the first thing you do, or the first thing you can do as a country, is ask yourself a simple question. Where do you want to be after a certain number of years, say 10 years? Because most 10-year cycles are long and wide enough to try and fail and try and fail and finally get it right. Now, when the Germans won the World Cup in 2014, it was at the end of a 10-year cycle of trying and trying and trying, and they got it right. When France won the World Cup in 1998, it was 10 years after they established Clairefontaine, the National Football Academy. So in 88, it was created. By 98, they were winning a World Cup. 20 years later, they were winning another World Cup. So between 88 and 2018, or 30 years. So 30 years after France built their National Football Center, they had won 2 World Cups. Right? Now, if you go to Spain, they may not have had a starting point, but by 2008, Spain was the best national team in the world. They won a World Cup, won a Euros, won another Euros.
They had a starting point. Aragones,
So
Aragones, who died, was the under-17 coach for dogs years.
Yes. So
that's where they started
the
from.
coach who would have discovered the likes of Fabregas and others.
Yes.
Now, what are the principles? Such a basic principle. So, like I said, 1, identify what you want to do in a set number of time, or in a set period of time. 2, find the money, because you cannot develop this game without money. It won't work. Money to build structures, money to build academies, money to feed players, money to train coaches.
What role do the clubs themselves play in it?
We'll get to
because
that.
At least out there that you're talking about, the clubs have their own agenda, and so therefore it's feeding into the water.
Great.
But here,
good. So then on top of that, you need an agenda that unites everybody. So if you go to places like Senegal, where there's Generation Foot and Diamba, there may be private football academies, but they don't exist in isolation. They work with a structure. When the Germans started to build their structure, they took the league along. So what were clubs required to do? They said from now on, have your own small little pitch where you have floodlights, where children can play at night. Start bringing under 20 players into your, and it was mandatory. German clubs needed to have under 20 players in their team. Then they married it to the system. So, for example, what they did was they had more coaches spread around Germany. Now, as we speak, the Germans have almost 15,000 coaches.
Speaking about 15,000, even the Premier League, they're about 6 or 7.
And not just any type of coach, but properly trained coaches with the required certification to groom the next batch of players. So if we say we want to win an AFCON, let's just ask ourselves, are we doing it? How many of our Ghana Premier League coaches have the highest form of certification? And even when they go through the CAF license courses, what do they learn? Do they upgrade themselves? We say we've got license. What's the mandate now? Every Premier League club should have a license A coach on your bench. Great. We may have 17, 18 license A coaches. But what kind of training do they have? Are they upgrading? Are their methods in tune with what is happening elsewhere? How are we even grooming the next Ghanaian player? Do we even know how the Ghanaian player looks like? If we see a Ghanaian player, can we recognize one? I wonder.
What Nathan is saying, let me chip in, is that for all our media houses, we have a document called our listener profile and our audience profile. So if you tell me, if you ask me what multimedia wants, I can give you in my sleep exactly what the Joy FM listener looks like.
I can tell you who your average City FM is.
It looks like when I was working there as well.
In Spain, for example.
And they know, if you go to Spain, they can tell you that this is what a Spanish player must look like.
So I was going through the Spanish national football team document. They said that they realized something. They noticed that all their players were of a certain height and build.
Averagely.
So they realized they couldn't play physical football. So they started to teach. They realized that with these pint-sized, quote-unquote, pint-sized players like Xavi, Iniesta, and co., what we can do is to learn to pass the ball around well. So all their football education is just based on passing, movement. You should see how players at Barcelona are recruited. When they have the open day, they bring children, they tell them, pass the ball around. Out of that, then they discover those who have an exceptional touch, great vision, and all of Spanish football is built on this basic principle of pass and move and having technique. Let us ask ourselves, if we take a Ghanaian player in the year 2022, how does he play? How does he view the game?
Mentality.
His mentality. Does he understand what he's doing on the pitch? Because a 16-year-old Ghanaian player, his equivalent in France, France is too far, his equivalent in Cote d'Ivoire, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Senegal, his 16-year-old equivalent is far more advanced than he is. Why? Because he's being taught in a system. He's not being trained in a vacuum. Even though he's playing for Diamba or Generation Foot, like I said, which is a private entity, that grooming he's getting is not different.
It's structured.
It's not different from what the Senegalese FA is thinking. That if we are grooming the next generation of Senegalese players, all of them need to play a certain way. It doesn't matter if he was born in Dakar, or he was born somewhere else,
or Bambali,
was born or Bamba, or the island of Florida. All of them need to look and play a certain way.
Yeah.
And I feel that is very absent from what we do. So we can take national teams, you take the Black Stars, they play a certain way.
Yeah.
When they come to under 20, the orientation is different.
Yeah.
He plays for the under 23, is different.
Yeah.
He comes to the Black Stars, is very different. So how do we really want to have a group of uniformed players who understand what they are doing, guided by a principle? Of course, every coach will have his own little idiosyncrasies, but the bottom line is that they need to be tied together by a guiding principle. But when I watch our football,
when you take these things and you say these things, I look at them in the context of the fact that the people are natives of the land.
Yes.
And the coaches are native of the land.
Great.
But you or Africa has that crazy philosophy that the players and whatnot, but then you go get foreign coaches.
So I was making a point about grooming coaches. Yeah. So on one hand, you may want to have an idea, but are we carrying the coaches along?
Yeah.
Was it not the FA president who said that the coach or the top 4 coaches will be taken somewhere?
Yeah. I was waiting for you to, because you see, the interesting thing about everything you have said, and has it occurred to anybody here that after the AFCON, I have not said a piece, a word? It's for one basic reason. The depth of my disappointment, and this is the first time I'll say it, and I know it will reach him. The depth of my disappointment in Keto Okweku cannot be measured. Because this was the first FA elections that I followed with my heart and soul. I mean, I was invested. You know, I traveled to George Freya's opening. I went.
Because this was after number 12.
Number 12. So for me, do you know what it was? I mean, one day I have the aspirations of writing a book. So I wanted to be able to say, like Mr. Tufo here, and Mr. Tufo knows about a few projects that I'm currently involved in. I want to be able to say one day, if we have life, that I was there when the slate was wiped clean. This is what was said. Asumesi Obintin, this person said this and this. This man won the election. He was given the opportunity, and this is what he did with it. So that was a lot of the things you said. Guess what? I have Ket's manifesto in my house.
You see,
I looked at it after the AFCON. I looked at it all like this, and I saw all the apport in there. Everything you said was there.
You see, Gary?
Which is why I agree with your quick fix, because I was waiting for my turn. You see, you do it the long term. Wow, obviously you want to win trophies.
Like a former colleague of mine will always say, you can walk and chew gum.
And chew gum.
What does it mean? It means that we can fix the short term. Getting a coach is important. But you see, that should not be the be-all or end-all.
You see, Gary, when Nathan was speaking...
Gary.
Sorry, Carl. It rhymes a bit. See, when Nathan was speaking, he was talking about philosophies of certain countries when it comes to football. Here, maybe we should be fair to Le Père and the FA that they are running coaching programs.
Because they are.
Yes,
because they are great stuff.
I mean, I've seen license D.
They've started licensing.
I saw pictures of Glatina Wako.
Yes. And I think it's beautiful.
Which is good.
But you know the disconnection. Check our national teams now. The lower ones. 17, 20, 23. Check.
Speak to both men's and women's.
Yes. Speak to football people, check the players in the teams. They all come from one block.
Block?
A chunk of them comes from one block.
Explain to me. Explain to my viewers.
Block, what I mean is, they are coming from the system that is running our football. Okay. And it is not something
clubs related
to that system. And it's not something anybody can tell me it's not there. You just pick the list and check. What I'm saying is,
we did a quantitative analysis of that before we won the under 20 AFCON.
Yeah.
As somebody said, because we won, we couldn't bring it out. Now, when we extrapolated, I'll throw it back to you now. When we extrapolated from that tournament and before, then I'll look for it and share it again, just for, as they say, share reasons. When we extrapolated for the previous 2 tournaments since Mr. Okraku came, and we listed every single player, about 500 of them. You know how many we found coming from that block?
Yeah.
More than 300.
Yeah, and I'm saying that.
Block.
So,
yes.
So
it is not. It is not.
So building on that point.
Jerome, I'll let you speak.
Yeah.
I don't want us.
No.
I don't want my viewers. Hold on. To what's the way to say? To be trying to look for a dictionary. I think I told you that when you are speaking on air, and you have your viewer rushing to go get this guy, you're not communicating.
You have to be asked.
Define block. That's all I know. I don't know. So I want you to speak.
Understandable. What I'm saying is, if you pick players in our national teams now, the junior ones,
they come from certain clubs.
A certain
that is what I'm trying to point from.
Yes.
Don't tell me block.
No, I'm fine with that. So my point is this. Even if we are to put in place the kind of systems Nathan is talking about, it will be defeated by the selfish interest of people running football, the agenda to make sure that it's their players that is getting national team call-ups, and at the end of the day, we're not going to get anywhere. It is time football people become sincere to the business of the game. It cannot be the promotion.
This is at the national level. I want us to move it down to club level because the clubs are even worse.
But Carl, you see, it is the same people who are running the clubs that are running the FA. So you can hardly distinguish between the two.
No, I'm not saying that don't go with them. But I want to know because there are some nations who had brilliant club sides, useless national teams. Some had brilliant national teams, useless club sides, and then some had the balance of the two.
So my answer to that is that clubs need to be run on something, not on impulse, not on what I see someone doing on TV, not on what I feel should be done. The other time, it was on one of your platforms here, and people were talking about, someone was asking about what government is doing to support clubs. And I said that if I am the finance minister, for example, and you make a case for government to support football clubs, I will listen to you. Afterwards, I'll ask for your blueprint for development. And I'm telling you, most of our clubs will not get it.
You don't even have bank account you are talking about.
They will not get it. So you see,
they have bank account you are talking about.
It has to start from that point. You know, we must be able to tell what we are doing with our clubs, such that it shouldn't be difficult for someone to even pick a phone and ask you. The person can sit back and say, okay, given what I see in the media, I think these guys are serious. Let's go in there and ask them. If we have 18 Premier League clubs, if all of them have something organized going on,
they'll get help.
The picture at the top will be very nice for everybody to see. But where you have clubs still being run from, pockets of individuals on their dining tables, in their car booths, and they cannot really tell you what they are doing at a body. And I'll use my own Kotoko, for example. This morning I was praising the management for setting up, coming up with an initiative that supporters are contributing to the clubs. And Carl, listen to this carefully. In 8 weeks, this initiative has been able to generate over 180,000 Ghana cedis from supporters. From supporters, over 180,000 cedis.
That's half of what the champions of the Ghana Premier League will receive from the FA.
So my point is, if you are a financial institution sitting somewhere and looking at what the Kotoko leadership is doing with supporters, it's very easy for you to partner because, look, this is proper business. we can think through something and see how mutual interest will be served.
Yeah.
So it is not just about, I have a football club, come and help me. No. What are you doing such that people will come, see what you are doing and say, okay, this light looks good. Let's also add ours and see how bright it will be.
Football clubs are no different from other businesses. They just happen to be in the business of football. So if other businesses can get investors, then it means that football clubs can't get investors.
Football clubs, there is a point that we always make, that the corporate world is not interested in Ghana.
That's a lie.
That's not true.
It's not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
In 2008, the Ghana Premier League had a sponsorship of $50 million, $3 million per year. You know how we did? Over 20% of that amount went into individual pockets.
You see?
We have to be very clear.
The insincerity.
Can you justify that?
No,
That's a statement of fact from
the 10%.
Yeah,
the
agencies.
The mid-C thing.
Mid-C.
That's what the mid-C was.
There was one touch. No, the agencies received, those ghost agents received more than what the clubs got. And that's why the clubs were not interested in giving mileage to these sponsors. They feel that we are the reason why the corporate world is interested in our football. The footballers are the reason why somebody is putting their money. They want to see Yaya Mohammed. They want to see Mbella. They want to see Fatau. It's not about a ghost agent somewhere who says they fronted the deal and they take more than $300,000. That was enough to renovate 3 pitches or 4 Ghana Premier League centers. And this has been the pattern. Taking cuts. A ghost agent receiving more money than what the potential winner of the Ghana Premier League would take. So I want to...
Okay, you know one thing. Please just hold your thoughts, and Nathan, just hold your thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't forget, because I'll come back to you when you come back. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we will continue. Right, welcome back to the program, and this is Saving Our Passion. My guest, Gary Al Smith of the Multimedia Group, that's Joy FM, Joy Online, Joy Prime, Joy News. Sadiq Adams, who's the head of Angel Sports and Angel FM Sports, and also better known as Sports Obama. Jerome Ochi, who is a former editor of the Kotoko Express and is now a freelance journalist. And then last but not least, the gentleman by the name of Nathan Kwa, who is head of research at the City FM group, a broadcast journalist also at City FM and City TV. We can't run away from that. And incidentally, he's going to be walking down the aisle very soon.
Oh Lord, no!
Don't believe the hype.
Folks, I won't give you the date, I won't give you, but when you see the pictures, you know what I mean. He's going to be walking down the aisle soon.
I thought you were.
He doesn't know what he's putting himself.
I thought you were going to say like part-time musician, part-time rap musician.
No. I know about your rapping skills. Yeah. But that day that and folks, don't joke. The guy can rap.
He's a multi-talented man.
At Omni Media.
Yeah, that was
my goodness. And he picked up the mic. For a second, I thought I was listening to Run DMC and all those. But anyway.
So assuming it's true that Nathan is going
don't believe that.
down there. I also. And you said.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I did not say assume.
No, I
say I hear.
You hear.
Yeah.
So assuming that is true, and you are saying that he does not know what he's getting himself into, as people who have all walked down the aisle, let's all laugh at him.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, Sadiq, you were on before we had to come and go for the break.
I was making a point about the loss of investor confidence in the Ghana.
Yeah.
In Ghana football.
Yeah.
National to the clubs. But I want to delve deeper in the clubs. We've spent so much money. Ghana football as a whole is about personal development at the expense of product development. So you
slow down, repeat it,
yes,
so that people can say it slow, so that my viewers can really hear.
So if you followed Ghana football's trajectory for some period of time now, it's more about personal development at the expense of product development. So people are so powerful than their clubs and footballers.
Yeah.
You have a leader of a club who is so popular and powerful than the top player in their teams. But the product is the football club and the players.
And the players.
But then the man has become so powerful, he drives 3-4 cars to the training grounds, and his players will walk to their houses after training and football games. And that is an upside down organization of football. Everywhere in this world, every professionally run football association will have much more focus and financial investment in footballers and football clubs, and not the management of the clubs or individuals. Even at the national team levels, we have created powerful people and a weak national team or weak national teams. So the clubs, for instance, between 2010 and 2021, that's within a 10-year period, FIFA has indicated that out of the 30 top countries who have transferred more players in the world, Ghana is ranked 9.
Yep.
Over $50 million, and that's a statement from FIFA's financial, investigations and research into football transfers within a period of 10 years.
Those things are captured in the FIFA transfer report.
Hold on a sec for me.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec for me.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a little feedback about the sound effect. So what I'll do is I'll go for a short break. When I come back, I'll let Obama continue. Okay, folks, we are back, and this is Saving a Passion. My guest for this evening, Gary Al Smith, yep, Sadiq Adams, yep, Jerome Oche, yep, and of course, Nathan Kwao, yep, 100%. I need to get this out of the way. This program has the sponsorship of MTN. 25 years of brightening lives. High sense, everyday price for everyday people. Bet Borough, bet responsibly. Adonko next level. Hey. Malcolm, where Ghana shops. Hey.
So Carl, before you go ahead, these sponsors you have mentioned, when we are going, what's up?
Well, if you look at it, Adonko.
No, what's up?
Oh, that Adonko.
The MTN, the high sense. Me, I want a 55-inch TV.
Hold on. So would you want to go and bet then?
Me? If I bet
the 55-inch TV you're talking about, you go and put it down. It
should give you off.
It should give me off.
Charlie, folks, this is the part I get a bit excited. This time I really become young. Sometimes, if you're 3 scores and it's not 10, yeah, it's just 3 scores. Okay. But there's a lady in the house, and she's been monitoring what you've been saying on the various social media portals and social media platforms. And I hope I got the words right, because these days it's platforms, it's
they are all synonymous,
portals, and whatever they are supposed to be. But that's for the current crop of media near paper and pen. Akosia, good evening.
Boss, good evening. And
when they say Akosia, the way he mentioned Akosia, they say Eja.
No, she should have even used more than Akosia, please.
Well, you guys out there say they are the Avengers. How do we have Avengers without the Black Widow? So the Black Widow, I'm around now. So we are going into the social media trend to talk about what you guys have been saying about what they are saying and what you think we can do to actually save our passion. And so already you guys have put us in the trend. Saving Our Passion is in there. GTV Sports Plus also in the trend on Twitter. And so welcome to my hub where we talk about all the social media trends. So far, these are some of the things people are saying. And so my Avengers, according to people on social media, you are doing the job of the Parliamentary Selects Committee. So some of the things that you are saying, we take it to the Parliament, and some of the things that they've been saying that they want the team to be doing. They said it in 2021. They want to do some in 2022. They've started. So we'll add what you are saying here to it. And so Charles Kwartin says, I'm GTV Sports Plus. I'm enjoying the discussion. This program is doing the same job the Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports want to do. If the leadership of our football would listen deep to this series of discussion, I'm sure we'll indeed save our passion. Good job there. And so good job to you guys as well. Chief Seidu Ademo is saying that my man Nathan Kwao is highly underrated man running the show on GTV.
Let him know that he's not highly underrated. That's why he was brought here. He is highly appreciated.
Okay, so Chief Ademo, you had that one there. And Okovo says that on my GTV Sports, I'm loving Nathan's solution to the Saving Our Passion show. Isifu says we have better players at home here to feature for the national teams. More comments coming through from you guys, and already our WhatsApp platform or portal is also going on. A lot of you sending your messages, and so I'll be going to read that very soon. Casey says the national team doesn't have any project, therefore we can't win anything. No wonder we rely heavily on Juju, and Ghanaians are not supporting the Black Stars because the players made it clear they play for money and not for pride of wearing the national jersey. That's what he has to say. Then these are some of the comments coming on our Facebook stream. And Frank says, I love this program and have watched it since day one. You started with past administrative leaders and dropping down. Please don't forget to invite with the supporters, since we are also stakeholders of the game, of course. We'll get to that turn so that you also tell us how we'll be able to save our passion. Henry says, in my view, I think there's only one problem. The Black Stars are not performing to the satisfaction of Ghanaians, and this problem is player selection. Who plays and who sits on the bench? Who comes on for the other player that comes off? Osei Balak says, I'm happy to see my man, Gary Al Smith. Gabriel Elect says, Sadiq Adams has said it all. The FA is the reason we are failing. We have changed players' coaches' jerseys, but the FA but for number 12 have remained. This is why we're going down the drain. That's what he had to say there. And some of your messages coming to you on our WhatsApp platform. Remember, that is a text line, not a call line. Mabeku from Takwa says that nice way to open the show by referencing previous tweets. This was Judgment Day in the opening section. Well, they said, Sadiq said it was. It almost looked like a Quranic Judgment Day for them. I was expecting that maybe some of them will, oh, maybe I changed my view about that. We know that, and when we started the AFCON, Gary had a post about the Senegalese coach. After the AFCON, he came back to say, well, I said this, but I think that I take it back. And that was very good. And so, I mean, even though they are the Avengers on social media, they don't know it, or they come and then they also take some of the things that they say back. That's why you guys love them, and that's why we brought them here. Superman from Pokwati says, Clash of the Titans, indeed, nice divergence into the football issues. In fact, GTV Sports Plus, you are doing a great job with saving our passion. Alma says, hello GTV, Ghana have to start all over and have a developmental goal. I agree with everything my guys are saying. And this one says, great minds in one studio. Ghana will rise again through sports-minded journalists like Jerome, Sadiq, Nathan, Gary, and of course my boss, Carl Tofo. This one is coming from Kofi Annan, not the Kofi Annan. And it says, to be honest, everything about Ghana football is funny. See other West African nations moving forward, but ours still stagnant like that. No wonder they are messing with our football in the west of Africa, because Black Queens are not in AFCON. Don't do that. Let me get a bit of the messages, then we go back to Carl and the guest. This is coming from Dennis Blemanu. He says, kudos to GTV Sports Plus for a wonderful job. I believe by the end of the season, our football space will be sanitized. God bless GTV Sports Plus. Thank you very much for this particular message. The last time you guys had questions, these ones, you're just flowing them fast. I don't know why. When Nyantechi gave me hard questions, when Ken Bediaku gave me hard questions, you're just flowing Sadiq and Nathan and Boss Jerome. I think we should take proper look at the structure of Ghana football and the leadership. One thing they do is when it's time to vote for the so-called football people into GFA positions. Okay, that's the message coming to from some of you guys out there. We're still monitoring what you're saying on social media. Maybe we'll come again to read some of your comments and what you think about what our guests have been saying. Do you agree with them? Do you not agree with them? Do you have any questions for them? Do you have something to tell Carl? Let us know on 0555561056. Remember that the hashtag we are using for today's program is hashtag saving our passion, hashtag GTV Sports Plus. And you can also watch us live on Facebook, GTV Sports Plus. Back to you, Carl, and your guest.
Thank you very much, Akosia. It's interesting, isn't it? People having their free mind and making their comments here. You were on board.
Yeah.
So I will get you to start now.
Yeah.
No interruptions.
Yeah.
Possible.
Thank you. So
we have what, like 20 minutes to go?
Yeah.
Oh, right now.
Because when you talk...
And this was a 2-hour show?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
But you see, when you talk, and you have people like you and you and you and you, people who are just from the current generation, that's what happens. You see, the older folks are a bit more, sorry to use the language, tepid in what they say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the point I was making is that Ghana football has, for some time now, been about personal development
and not
as
the
against product development. We are not focused on polishing the product. We are focused on creating powerful individuals. So a chunk of the money we make from football is not for the sustainability of the game, but to keep individuals in positions and make them powerful. Otherwise, clubs in Ghana would have been far more powerful than they are. And when I say this, I don't mean the FA alone. At clubs, when sponsorships come, the FA takes money, a chunk of it for administrative purposes and what have you. You don't know. Agency fees. The money does not sink down to footballers, the players. Take clubs like Liberty Professionals, for instance. And I was making reference to the FIFA financial,
the transfer report.
The transfer report. Ghana is one of the countries with a very high reputation for transferring players. 9th on 30 countries, top 30 countries in the world, who transfer more players within the last 10 years. Ghana stands at $50 million. And out of the $50 million, 49.5% of it has not been used or reinvested back into the game.
Interesting.
How can it be? How can it be? Because I have quotation marks.
Yeah.
Invested my money in Jerome.
Yes.
And now that I've been able to sell him,
Okay. That's the problem.
Roman Abramovich.
Yeah, that's the problem. Abramovich is not investing the money he gets from football.
Incidentally, now Chelsea are in trouble.
So, if we go for tournaments and the prize money on the AFCON or World Cup is $8 million.
Yeah.
In 2006, the Ivorian FA distributed the money straight down to coast clubs. Coast clubs had money at the extent of buying cars and coaches for their for their club side.
Yep.
Coast clubs, Premier, Division 1, the distribution went down to even training of coaches. What did we do? Who here can tell me what we used the 6 million? We got 8 million, 8.5 million actually, from 2006. 2006, 1.5 million of that amount has gone unaccounted for.
Which year did the FA buy these pickups for?
2006.
Okay.
We bought cars for regional FA chairmen to run their activities, some of whom had no offices.
Yeah.
We bought cars for them. So we empowered individuals. The clubs had nothing from the World Cup proceeds. As at now, nobody knows how much of the $11 million we got in 2010 was used for.
They said it went back into the
FIFA has written clearly
2010.
what consolidated
was pre-finance. Where the money came back.
I'm talking
The
about
money went into government chest.
Where it was taken from.
So I'm talking about government is supposed to invest into the game. So if there was a proper channeling of this amount of money, I'm not sure government would have taken it back.
All right, that's a fair point.
If government knows that the money will be used adequately in the system, the football ecosystem, the effect will trickle down to every individual. In Bechem, in Brekum, the pitches have been renovated. In Wa, there is a new pitch. People can point to the fact that, when we went to the World Cup in 2010, the money, the proceeds from that World Cup was used to renovate the Wa Stadium. And that's where a lot of kids play. Government will get plaudits for that. The $11 million.
And it's politics. They will do it.
It's politics. Because every government in the world invests in sports. So if I invest and I see that the investment is trickling down to the ordinary person,
the people who will vote,
the people who will vote for me, they know that they have facilities around. The league is thriving because out of the 11 million, 5 million was donated for the running of the league. And we've seen that we have set a mark, a salary cap for players in the Ghana Premier League. That $5 million is supposed to be run for 2 years. The clubs will return it, but then they have some war chest to make transfers. People will say, they can point that there's a pronounced investment from the World Cup. Ghana has been to the World Cup on 3 consecutive occasions. What is the legacy project? So people will sit outside and say, the World Cup that we want to sit on top of cars and run, after the players, when they go, what do they bring? The money is going into individual pockets. We saw 4 or 5 people sharing $577,500 amongst themselves. For what? For doing nothing.
That's a point.
Basically. And then I, sitting in Adroba, no electricity, I go and buy battery to come and watch television that my players are playing in World Cup. An executive committee member who plays no role in the development of the players has taken $150,000 just by following the team. So the players have seen that individuals following the team are making
executive
committee
member
of the
$150,000. When?
In 2014.
It was 82.
No, twice. They took money from the ministry.
It was 82.
$82,000
coefficient. That's when the term coefficient.
Let me explain. Emmanuel Jima, for instance, the General Secretary, admitted being paid by government and also received.
That was where it came out that they had
taken double salaries. They had taken double rewards, in fact.
And you had
so
names
when I
of
say
people who had passed.
we
on
had
that
names of
list as
people.
well.
So
That blew my mind.
so Carl, I just want to end on this point that
Charlie.
25 million is now being, asked from government to run the AFCON and the World Cup
I
campaign.
think government is asking corporate.
Government
Government is asking them to get
Okay.
25
Get
million
25
in a
Nathan spoke about structures.
Yeah.
Now we don't have cold system anymore. It's difficult because the era of coast football has long passed. I'm not saying it's lost its relevance.
Yeah.
But then, what every country professionally run football association will do is to have a center of excellence where footballers, grassroots footballers will be selected from schools, from the community pitches in Kintampo, from Axim, below the ages of 12 to 14. Bring them to the National Center of Excellence. The monies we get from AFCON and World Cup, this is how we are supposed to train them. The first batch is 30 players. Second batch is 60 players. By the third batch, we have 90 players. And this is their pool. We are imbibing in them. We are training them athletically, physically, physiologically, psychologically, education-wise. Technically. This is where we imbibe in them the culture, the mentality, the patriotism. And when a player knows that I have been picked from Jache Pramso at the age of 10 on merit, honesty, to sleep and be catered for at the Ghana Center of Football, I have then gotten the opportunity to play in the Ghana Under-17. I have gotten a club in Europe. I have been called to the Black Stars. Am I going to look at all this investment made in me and still demand for $100,000 to appear and disappear?
Yeah.
You know,
Mbappe was given his World Cup bonuses. He said, I was picked at the age of 6 by the French football selectors to be at Clermont.
Yes.
They have catered for me since I was 6. Why do they have to pay me bonuses when my club...
But you have to admit that him as an example, his father spilled the beans.
Yeah.
His father spilled the beans in the sense that his father took him to
Cameroon. Yeah.
But
he's making a point.
I'm making a point.
He's making a point about France.
I know. I'm making a point of France.
That a system. So it's easy for him
in Spain. It's in Germany. The country invests through the Football Association to cater for the top youngsters from the school sports. You put them there. This is how we want to play. So if you watch the Netherlands national team, the Italian national team, the English national team, all the players,
so you have a style of play.
You check their statistics, you check their profile. They started from under 14. Jan Hontilier, Schneider, they were all in under 14. Germany, they had a group, a core. They were all from under 14, under 16, under 19. So the style is very evident. This is how we want to play.
Whether that and the under 14, under 16 teams do well in competitions or not, they do not disband.
They don't break the team
because they know this is the best crop we have.
Yeah.
Go to your National Center of Excellence. It is a mosquito and cockroach infested area.
At Scorpions.
And it's Scorpions. More than $40 million of an investment. Jerome, when you talk about coaches, we are going to bring a coach. No, Chris Hilton will come here and get a culture shock of the system we run here. He will travel to Brekum and see a dusty pitch called the Ghana Premier League Center. And this is where he's expected to select a local.
Talk about the dusty pitches. I was listening to Steve. No,
we let loose our leaders.
Yeah.
If you calculate the amount of money we spent from 2006 or 2005, sponsorships, Puma, Rice Masters, people talk about CCTC, millions. Government will invest, GMPC,
FIFA money,
Gold Coast Ghana, FIFA money. It comes. Countries like Mauritania, Lesotho, Gambia, they are making rightful use of this money. You do not have a single football center. A national team like Ghana, a football association, do not have a center where 5 footballers can stay for 10 days. The Ghana Football Association medical team has written to the FA that that center of excellence is not fit for purpose.
See, I want to talk about that.
So we cannot run football outside. I want to end on this. When we invest
He's on a roll.
On this AFCON,
I like that.
$2.5 million. We quote this amount of money and it looks like it's small. Even the Americans who own the dollar do not spend like we do.
Exactly.
Even the Americans do not spend $30 million, $90 million
25
we
million.
could have changed the entire face of Ghana football with $10 million.
Interesting. I'm saying interesting because it's clear. The Bible said, you talked about the Bible. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speakers.
This is something that's so passionate to
you see,
Jerome.
Carl, I was just looking for a story talking about the Ghanaman's soccer.
Yeah.
Yesterday there was a story published on the FA's website.
Yeah.
I spent time to read it. When I finished, I did a screenshot, posted on the platform that this is a typical sunshine story, typical government-like story where after reading, you don't really pick exactly what is being said.
Yeah.
It's just language being thrown out. I was very sad reading it. When I saw it, I thought, oh, Ghanaman is going to see some big facelift. But what I read was something that doesn't touch the heart of what Sadiq is talking about.
What was it? Pray, tell.
It was, okay, so for instance, is it the CEO or the manager of the place?
Madam Winfred Maude
was and with a lot of respect to her, she was talking about how players come in and destroy things. So now, when you come in, they are going to more or less do an inventory of things, and when you go and you spoil it, you pay for it. I said, wow. Is that what should be the case? How do you manage a facility, I mean, under such circumstance? What I'm saying is this. If you listen to Sadiq very well, it comes back to the point I made earlier on.
Leadership.
It's leadership. Carl, if you have leaders of our game who can just allow money to be used the way we use it. That's why I was talking about being conscionable. You pack $4 million into an aeroplane, send it somewhere, distribute, give to players. What are you telling the people back home? If we are going to spend over $1 million just paying appearance fees and bonuses, we'll still play on dusty pitches. Let leadership stand up and say, look, given our problems, for instance, if we make it to the World Cup, I'm learning we'll have about $12 million or so. Yeah. I know friends who are saying we shouldn't go because when the money comes, they won't use it for what it's supposed to be used for. But I'm saying that if we will be sincere to the game and the standard we find ourselves now, when we qualify and that money comes, let's be truthful and say we are not going to use it for elections. We are not going to use it for any other thing, but to solve the problems we have. We play on poor pitches. We are constructing boreholes at Ghanaman Soccer Center for Excellence. In this day and age, borehole. In this day and age.
The Black Queens players, they carry
I felt bad talking about it. So let our people be sincere. Me, I don't believe our football people are sincere. I don't think so. I have always said that if I don't think even the management committees are relevant. I've always said this. But if I happen to be part of it, maybe they will take me out. Because I will appeal to the conscience of every member to look at the problems we have and decide that whatever you give me as bonuses or whatever will be rejected. And not until we have people who are willing to see things from that perspective.
But they are basically there for the money.
No, but you see, it cannot be that. See, everyone likes money.
Yeah.
Everyone likes money. But I'm saying that when you watch players play on the Brekum pitch you are talking about, you travel all the way from Accra to Brekum to watch Brekum, Chelsea, and you call yourself a management committee member, an executive member of the FA. You travel from Accra to Kumasi or to Brekum to watch football on that pitch, and you are paid, say, $50,000 as bonus for being part of a Black Stars management committee. You have conscience? Doesn't your conscience tell you that put this money together, football pitches will be developed?
No, when you talk about conscience, Samuel Eto'o came into power for FECAFOOT, and the first major decision was to set a salary cap for the Premier League players in the country. Our FA took over. The first major decision was to increase their salaries by more than 100%. The executives.
Let leadership sacrifice.
Players.
If we can save our passion, let the people in charge of our football understand that it is not about them and their interest. It's about the state and the state's interest. Until we understand that, we'll continue on this path.
It's not often that I'm on a platform and I am quiet because, you know, they are saying everything. What I really often invited me, I decided on what my, beyond everything I'll be discussed. And I said it at the beginning in my first submission that everything is leadership. Leadership is cause, everything is effect. And I stand by that because, you see, after number 12, this current admin, so we can point because we all resolved that we are having a clean slate. We all said it.
Yeah.
I believe this administration have had the best opportunity since 2005, when a young administrator at 35 years came with a similar wave of goodwill. And I want to underline that, goodwill. The goodwill that they had, that they decided on their own to call the Bring Back the Love Project. Yeah. The goodwill it had. I mean, I saw a whole lot of, creative people and those who know how to do campaigns saying that, the name is not good. And I said, forget about the mechanics of that. It is about, what is in the heart. Yeah. And when I interviewed the FA boss on 10th April last year, in preparing for the interview, I was looking for a lot of things. In fact, I picked the 10 things that he said he would, the 10 points that he said he would do. And I did my own independent analysis with him in the studio of this, that. And we came to a motley very interesting, about 6 or 7 over 10. And he was happy and he left the show. Between 10th April last year and today, the amount of downhilling that they kept is mind-boggling. And that is why I'm shocked in a stupor. Because the number of bad decisions that they have taken between 10th April and now is incredible. And I'm asking, what's the problem? So all I've wanted to say when coming on this show is that to the current administration, at least how many years do they have? 2.
I think 2.
You have 2 years more. Look around the Ghana Premier League. Look around Division 1. There are people who don't have as much power as you do, the FA, administration. They don't have as much influence and clout and as much money to do things that you are able to do. But they are doing magic. I don't want to name clubs here. Yeah. We know them. Clubs with little, a few of them, in the area that you are talking about, the Brekum area, doing wonderful well.
Maybe you should name
Let's start with Bechem. Yeah. Bechem is run like... Take time to go to Bechem and see how they run the club. Yeah. Look, it will blow your mind. Sarkodie says, you know why Sarkodie is successful? He says you can't cheat the game. Yeah. And people at home say Sarkodie is stingy. Well, he's stingy. That's why he's successful. Because Sarkodie says he has a principle. When he makes 5, he gives 2 to his family. He puts 3 back into the craft that made him who he is. We make 10. And we chop 9. 9.5. Bechem United. Look, we've seen them doing great things.
Is that just a trait of football? It's a trait of the country.
It's a trait of...
Because I can give you examples and you remember them.
Yeah.
Factories that started. Yeah. Remember Refresh?
Yeah. Yes.
Remember Aztec? Fantastic. When the money started coming in, because they were then exporting to the Middle East and were buying. When the money started coming in,
juxtapose that with the same companies in the same industry. Let's take the same industry. Refresh. Look at Blue Skies. Look at my Ghanaians. Yeah. They are doing fantastically amazing. Blue Skies,
are they reinvesting into the company?
Yes.
That's the point.
When he was interviewed, he rarely grants one, but he did one, and he said they took the people to his home, and they asked him, "Is this your house?" He said, "Yeah, this is my house." The people behind Blue Skies.
They thought it was some mansion.
Yes.
44.
He said, "I don't need."
And Gary, unfortunately, I have my directors and producers screaming about my ears. So I just want to say that
yes,
got to be sincere.
Just like happened with the first program, you can't run away from the fact that we can sit here for 4 hours and we won't end. And in broadcast journalism, it's a fact that you must leave your audience wanting more than rather killing them and then suddenly becomes it. So I just want to say thanks to Gary Alsmith of the Multimedia Group. Yeah, with us. Sadiq Obama, aka Sports Obama. I won't say Adams. Sadiq Obama, aka Sports Obama, who is the head of sports at Angel FM. Okay, and then my man himself, Like, Sadiq is also my man. Jerome Autry, who is a former editor of Kotoko Express. Where is it right now?
No,
it's online.
He went off because of COVID.
Yeah, but it's now online.
Yeah, it's
so basically that's what you guys are doing. Everything is run like the hub, and the rest. Anyway, and he's now a freelance journalist. So if you need him, folks, you can see him. And of course, the latest, soon to be the latest mad guy in town, my younger brother, Nathan Kwao, who is the head of research and a broadcast journalist at City FM and City TV. Folks.
So there's something that you would like to hear. Tomorrow there'll be a press release about Asamajan's book is complete.
Oh, okay.
Great stuff.
It's amazing you're saying that because she's not the only one coming up. There's also one for CK Jamfi.
Yeah,
okay.
That's done.
That it's finished. You're now doing the reading through, and that will be launched.
That's
great. So we'll get copies of it, and then we'll bring Asamajan in here and his publishers and get a talk on it.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Folks, thank you very much for coming. I want to say big thanks to all those who make this program possible every evening, particularly my co-hostess, Akosia, fantastic lady on the social media platforms and reading all that you send out to us. And then the guys who sit behind the scenes who do an absolutely fabulous job. You never see them, but they do. Editors and all those people, great stuff. But more importantly, thanks to you for watching. Without you watching, you are useless, you are hopeless. God willing, we should be back same time next week. I don't know what we'll do. All I know